Welcome, radiant souls, to another transmission of your royal rebirth. Today, we step into the presence of ancient wisdom, divine power, and sacred sovereignty as we welcome the incredible Antonietta Birdsell to this space. Antonietta is a Sophia Code leader, a retreat facilitator, breathwork facilitator, mindset coach, energy worker, intuitive channel, and ceremonialist. A mom of a boy and girl teenager, dyslexia teacher, and advocate with 40 plus years experience in the education field. Her dream is to create motherhood circles to help women mother themselves and support raising their children with sovereignty. Today, we're opening a portal to Isis, the Great Mother, my High Priestess, the embodied sovereign, and I have the honor to be with the perfect person to open this portal and to speak about Isis. Prepare to be activated, empowered, and deeply seen as we open this sacred space together. Antonietta, how are you? Welcome to this sacred container.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited. This is so fun to share
Yeah.
this time with you. Thank you so much for being part of this royal rebirth.
Yes, thank you for accepting. And thank you, Mother Isis, for being so clear and so persistent with us. She's been coming really clearly, really powerfully for all of you, people who will be watching the replay, people who are part of the audience. And so, Antonietta, tell us a little bit more about Goddess Isis. She's known for her wisdom, power, and ability to restore and renew. How do we work with her energy? How do we help us awaken our sovereignty?
Well, I am a Sophia Code leader. And so the way I was introduced to Isis is through this book, The Sophia Code. And it's a channeled book by Kyra. And there's many ascended masters in there. Isis is key code 1. And I have a little message for you. So I'm going to read from the book. And then I can share with you how ISIS has supported me in my journey back to sovereignty. So it's on page 62 if you have the book. And it's the first paragraph. And it starts with, when you humble your heart, this is Isis speaking, when you humble your heart to finally accept that you are both the queen and the king of your individual destiny, you'll discover that there is no one above you or beneath you in this true description of royalty. And I felt like this sentence just summed up your whole mission. And I am so grateful that you invoked Isis for this day, because she is the goddess for it. She is the mentor to support us in the balancing of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. In the balancing of the divine feminine and the masculine, you become sovereign, you become whole. And in order to become sovereign and whole, you really need to follow Isis's teachings in regards to self-care and self-love and self-compassion, connecting to Mother Gaia Earth, right? Because she was very connected, very, very connected to the earth and the elements. And it's so simple. It's so simple, just mother yourself. And in mothering yourself, you have to release what is not yours, all the programs, all the ancestral stuff you came down with, to release right into love, all the parental programs, all the societal programs, all the political, and you name it, educational, right, religious, everything that does not serve you. If you're aligned with yourself, right, because Isis wants you to empower you. She does not want to be your guru. She does not want to be your mentor. She does not want to be your goddess. She wants to be your friend, right? And she wants to hold your hand through this side by side and know that you are everything she is, because she's a mirror of you and you are a mirror of her.
So beautiful. I completely agree with that. I think Working with Isis it requires intimacy. It requires you not only, like you just said so beautifully, not to get to know her as a goddess and to worship her, but to get to know yourself through her wisdom and through her own gifts, because she's so gifted. There's so much psychic abilities and power over so many things that I would highly recommend working with Isis in this path of reclamation of sovereignty and love. And like you mentioned, self care and practices are so simple in some way, but that we have forgotten. We don't really take care of our body, we don't really connect with our inner wisdom, with our intuition, and so many other things. What, in your experience, Antonietta, what are some tangible practices or rituals that we can cultivate to have more access or to increase our connection with the divine feminine presence that is already in us and step into our royal essence?
Such a beautiful question. Thank you for asking. Whew. Well, I'm going to just speak for what I do and how I rebirthed back into royalty. It's been a journey. It's been a long journey. I came into this world with a lot of teachers and a lot of challenges that have served me well. And now I use that gift as compost, as rich soil, as a fertilizer for the new seeds that I'm planting. And so, in order to get to that point of be able to planting the new quote unquote seeds of your self-care and sovereignty, you really need to get into the dark quote unquote aspects of your divine feminine self. And sometimes we've been really ostracized, and the dark feminine has really been kind of shunned and thought of as like negative, and but it's not. It is your power. It's part of your power. It's part of your sovereignty. And if you shun that part, you can never be whole. Like, you need the light and the dark, right? And you need to, um, as in Sophia Code, we call it the dark womb of no thing, right? We have to go there. We have to go into the unknown, into the abyss, and to bring up all of our stuff that we don't want to look at, right? All of our traumas, all of our fears, all of our, you know, hurts, and people that might have hurt you unintentionally or intentionally, and then, just like cleaning out a closet. You got to pull out all the stuff, right? And then your closet, sometimes it's dark in the closet and you don't want to go in there, and there's like, dust bunnies and yucky stuff. I love spiders, but some people don't, I mean, spiders and, you know, stuff that, mice, who knows what's in there, right? And you got to pull all that out. And before you can even think about self care, you got to do that first. That is the self care. That is the ultimate of self care, is to look at the quote unquote ugly, which I don't think is ugly at all. I really enjoy it. And Isis is all about death and rebirth. She's all about, you know, resurrection and rebirth. I mean, she rebirthed, Osiris. Um, so that's the power. Like, the power is, be you. Be you, be unapologetically you, as long as you don't harm another person, obviously, And then once you excavate and bring all that darkness to the light and release it into love, then you have the capability to feel self-love and self-compassion and self-worth. And then you're that reflection of that. And unless you can be the reflection, there's no way you can share that reflection. You're gonna get triggered. You're gonna get annoyed. You're not gonna be your best self. And believe me, I'm speaking from experience. So I think the best way to self-care is just to really, tools could be go to therapy, you know, a lot of somatic healing. I've done a ton of somatic healing because all of your um, sadness and trauma are stored in your soma, in your lymph uh, your lymph system. A lot of people don't realize that. We don't talk about the lymphatic system. It is so imperative to detox your lymph system. Like I'm in a sauna every day for an hour. Of course, I had to work up to that. I work out. I do yoga. I meditate. I'm a every minute of my life is a prayer. I'm always praying. Like every thought is a prayer. You know, it's just a practice. And once you get in the habit, it just becomes who you are. What else can you do? I talk to my beloved friends, my beloved sisters. I give back. I volunteer. I'm very generous with everything, not just money, but my heart, my love, my time. But I also have boundaries. You need boundaries. Boundaries are super important. And if you're around energy or people that aren't in alignment with who you are, release the codependency. Release the nice girl, I have to be a good girl or a nice girl attitude, right? Like that's just, my mother, God bless her soul, she was an angel, but she'd always say, be a good girl, be a good girl. And then like thinking like I'm not a good girl, like other times I'm a bad girl, just little things like that. Like just thinking of like I have two children and I'm so conscious of how I talk to them because mothers have lots of power, and it's so important to wield your power in sovereignty and to create very self-sufficient sovereign children. I think that's just one of many things. I could go on for 5 days, but that's what's just coming to the top of my head. And that's why I want to do these mother circles, these sacred circles, because the Sophia Code, I am a leader to facilitate sacred Sophia circles. But I want to extend the circles to include, you know, motherhood, mothering yourself, or if you have children, mothering children. I know a lot of children now a lot of them are neurodiverse coming into the world right now, and that's my specialty. I have children who are neurodiverse. I'm neurodiverse, so I get it. And I've also have very sovereign children, and it didn't start out that way. Let me tell you, it didn't. I had to really cultivate my own sovereignty so that I could be the mirror for them. And that's what I want to share with other women and other mothers.
Mm. So now that you're speaking about that, how did you incorporate ISIS into your life? And how is that connected to your journey as a Sophia Code leader or facilitator?
Well, every morning, I before I get out of bed, I we have this a circle of empowerment prayer that Kyra has taught us, and it starts with your higher self, like you acknowledge your higher self, your Holy Spirit, however you want to call it, your God spark. And then you create your circle of empowerment. So mine would be the 8 key codes that have been introduced in the Sophia Code um, book, the transmission. So it starts with I invite White Buffalo Woman in my circle. So think of me as in the middle, and then I have like a circle around me, like a circle of light. And then I pick a color. So I usually, today it's pink. And then it's like a medicine wheel. So you start at the top of the medicine wheel. North would be White Buffalo Woman. And then continuing clockwise would be Isis, Hathor, Green Tara, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, Jesus, Kuan Yin, Mahabar Babaji, and the Holy Order of Seraphim dragons, the white dragons, the mother of all mothers. And then I also include my spirit guides, my ancestors who want to support me, and anything known and unknown. And that is my own protection. My light is the protection, right? Because right now there's a lot. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot. on every level, right? And not that you need protection, but you need your light. And in order to shine your light, you need to be conscious of shining your light. So that's a number one practice before I get out of bed. I do it when I'm in the car. I do the circle all the time. My daughter does the circle. Um, my son, he uh, he believes in a higher being, but is still on his path of enlightenment. And yeah, and my a lot of my friends also follow that. That's the number one thing for self-care. I eat super clean. I drink, really healthy spring water, reverse osmosis water, oxygenated water with hydrogen. I Food is medicine to me. I cook with prayer. I use a lot of quantum healing techniques. I have a Rife machine, if you know what that is. It's a quantum healing machine. I do a lot of quantum healing myself. I've been trained by a quantum magician, sister, mother, you know, um, guide, mentor, friend of mine. Her name is Mary Prindiville, and she's taught me everything I know. And again, I could go on and on and on and on, but pet my dog, pet my cat, go on walks, love nature, sit in my medicine wheel, you name it, hug a tree. I love hugging trees. It's really simple. Just breathe, breathe, go outside, ground.
Oh my goodness, I love trees. We should have another session where we just talk about trees.
Oh, yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Now, you were mentioning something about the Sophia Code and the mystery school. What is the connection between Hathor, Isis, Mary Magdalene, and Mother Mary through the mystery school lineage? And how does that help, or how can we connect that into the vision of the royal rebirth of women in our time and day?
Oh, you're really good at asking questions there, Monica. Another really good, great, beautiful lineage. Oh my God, I'm so excited to share this. Thank you for asking. Yeah, Kai, this is, from Kyra and her channelings. And this is, I'm not the expert. I'm just repeating what I've taught, what I've learned. So way, way, way back, like before the pharaohs, like 300,000 years ago, um, the divine feminine was revered and was very well loved. And the divine masculine and the divine feminine were really in balance, and they supported each other, the men and the women. And the women were kind of like the leaders, the intuitive leaders, the guides, and the men were more the support, the guidance, the light. Uh, and not that they were diminished in any way. They were just not the birthers of reality, right? They didn't birth. They weren't able to birth, and they honored and revered, you know, women who, birth. Not that men are any less, but that's how, the society was back then, 300,000 years ago. So Hathor was super instrumental in creating this beautiful blueprint of how society should exist, and they were in great harmony for hundreds of thousands of years, and then Isis was also a student of Hathor in her mystery school. And I think Kyra said Hathor's mystery school, like almost like three-fourths of the earth was, following Hathor's teaching. If I, Don't quote me, but that's what I think she said. But it was quite an enormous amount of unity back then amongst the people. And then Isis was trained by her, and so everything Hathor knew was mirrored onto Isis, and then Mother Mary also um, revered, not revered, I shouldn't say. Mother Mary was part of a mystery school at a very, very young age. Anna, her mother, grandmother Anna, immaculately conceived Mother Mary, and was trained in the mystery schools since birth, since like age 3. And then going down the lineage to Mary Magdalene, also born to a very, very high priestess and a very awakened um, father. But Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary were really born it was very tumultuous time. It was a time of great distress during the Roman Empire, times of patriarchal rule, and they were the ones who really kept the lineage going in these secret mystery schools. And then when Jesus was crucified, Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and and the Essenes, they were part of the Essenes community. They decided to flee and go to France. So they started their ministry, the Magdalene, the Magdalena, the Order of Magdalena, in France, and then they populated Europe. They went to France, they went to Italy, they went to England, they went to lots of places, and they seeded their lineage, they seeded their DNA, basically, with having lots of children and creating these mystery schools and keeping the lineage alive as much as they could. Um, and now we are remembering. Like, we have channels like Kaira who can download the information, and we're dispersing it again. And thank you for letting me speak of this, because it's so exciting to share the lineage and the truth that's coming online again to support the divine feminine during this beautiful age of Aquarius time that we're now.
Mm. I think it's fascinating that for so many years we were not that this was not revealed onto us, but it was not so available. It was not so widespread open to everyone until we were ready to accept and to receive the feminine. And that's it's such a beautiful time that we are birthing, creating together, and such a beautiful remembrance and reclamation. Today we're starting the spring equinox. Is that right? Or in a few hours, maybe not today, right now, at this
Oh,
moment.
say right now, this moment, yes.
Okay. So I think that Isis was the perfect um archetype to invite so that she could share some wisdom for us as we enter this new era. The spring equinox is all about rebirth and new beginnings, and we have already shed so much. The old is dying. We're ready to come emerge back to the light, but appreciating all the darkness that we were part of during this time of rest. What would be some wisdom that Isis would like to share with us today as we enter this spring equinox portal?
Okay, well, I have another message from Isis from the book. It's on page 68 from the Sophia Code book. And she says, "My presence is with you now, guiding and blessing this ordained opening to our mentor relationship." So she wants you to mentor with her if you feel aligned. "You are safe to access my sovereign power, guiding you to embrace your own. For you are ready to be guided by your own divinity now. Wait no longer for the divine inheritance that is already yours. Your destiny calls. Your higher self is ready to activate you now." So these are words from Isis channeled by Kaya Ra. And I feel it's so appropriate just to even read this sentence. It's so powerful. I'm like getting the chills just reading it, because this is the royal rebirth, right? The equinox is the rebirth. This is the time, of course, it snowed here in Chicago, where I live, about 2 inches. But it's it's going to flow into, more nourishment for the earth and for the soil. So I bless the snow in March on March 20th because tomorrow it's going to melt. So I mean, simple things like water. Like we need water, right? Without water we die. Like we could eat and not eat for days, but water, oh my, you can't go without water. And water is sacred. Water holds memory. Water is magical. It goes into a solid, a liquid, a gas. What other element can do that? Like water is the baptismal, like, offering, that spring gives us. Like, there's not a lot of water in winter. It's cold. But there's a lot of water in spring just to awaken everything and to replenish everything. And it's like a mother, right? The mother is the water, the life force for their children. And water is just so pure in its original form, right? And it has consciousness. I know that there's this one, the Emoto, I forget his last name. He does a lot of work with water and freezing water and having water crystals crystallize into those beautiful snowflake shapes according to the consciousness of the words spoken. And the words that are high vibe, like joy and love and sovereignty, the crystal creations are immaculately perfect and just so like the sacred geometry is impeccable, but you say some words like, hate and jealousy, and it's just like it doesn't look formed, it looks deformed. So that's the key. It's like create when you are a creator, so be careful what you create and what you speak, because you are rebirthing yourself every minute of the day, and in every thought and in every action and in every kind act you do is a reflection of you. Or if you choose not to and you choose to be unconscious, you could, manifest that which of your not wildest dreams, like of your hellish existence. So that is to me the
Yes, yeah,
rebirth, it's the knowing.
indeed. And I love that you circle that back to sovereignty because that's precisely what it is. It's a reclamation of me being the creator of my reality and being so aware and so conscious of what am I creating? What is my legacy for my daughters, for my sons, for the next generation, for the world? Um, what how can people learn more about the Sophia circles that you lead and learn more about Isis and Hathor and all the Mr. School lineage? How can they work with you or find more about what you do and your work with women? Tell us more about that.
I'm kind of underground right now. It's like mostly by word of mouth, but I do have a Facebook page, and it's Antonietta Birdsell. And then my Instagram is a Birdsell123, or you could just message me via Facebook. That's the best way because I'm not tech, and I are just starting to be friends. So I just do it super simple. Like you could message me on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram a ton. You could email me at Tony, which is my nickname, Toni Birdsell, Birdsell at gmail.com. You could get a hold of Monica. There's so many ways. You could just, you know, get the Sophia Code book, and then see if you're aligned. And I'm also on Kaira's website, Kaira, Kaiara. I'm a Sophia Circle leader. There's a link through her website. You know, pray. Maybe I'll hear your message. Befriend me on Facebook. So many different ways, right? If you're called.
Magical.
Yeah, if you're called.
Beautiful. Wow.
I don't advertise a lot. I'm very divine feminine. Really the prayer is, um, thank you, I accept, I allow, I receive. And that's the Kaira prayer that I pray often, and it just magnetizes to me in
Beautiful.
very magical ways.
I'm so grateful that you're sharing that with other women because we need to hear that more often. We need to hear how women are receiving and they're opening the channels in such an easeful, peaceful, and beautiful way. It's flowing. Because we live in a world where we're always struggling to manifest and to make money and to bring the things that we desire. And the feminine essence, it's flowing. It's not so much into controlling. Thank you so much, Antonietta, for being the conduit of this sacred wisdom in this space, for guiding us into deeper remembrance. Thank you to each of you in the audience for listening, for showing up, for choosing yourselves one more time, and for answering the call to your highest expression. May you walk forward with the strength of a queen and the wisdom of our mother, Isis, and of all the other great women, women of wisdom and power and embodiment of love, the heart of a priestess and the knowing that you are divinely held. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love. Tony, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time and wisdom.
So much fun. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.